Hello, today we're going to do Module 5, Lesson 29. Our objective is that we're going to compare fractions with the same numerator using less than, greater than, or equal, and we're going to use a model to reason about our size. Okay, now, what do you remember about numerator? That was a fancy word that we haven't used very much. What did numerator mean? Numerator sounds a lot like the word number. And we use that to help us remember that the numerator is the number of pieces that we have, right? That we have. So for instance, if the fraction is 9/16, the numerator is 9 because we have 9/16 pieces, okay? 16th is the number of pieces that my whole is cut into, but I only have 9, so that's the number of pieces that I have. Okay? Just to remember about that. We're going to start with our application problem. Catherine and Diana bought matching scrapbooks. Catherine decorated 5/9 of the pages in her book, and Diana decorated 5/6 of the pages in her book. Use a tape diagram to show who has decorated more pages of their scrapbooks. Okay, so let's make Catherine's. So here's her whole. Let's make them be about the same length. This one's Diana's. I'm going to try to make it as close as I can. I'm not going to be overly particular, but pretty close so it makes sense. Now, ninths. She did 5/9. Now, do you notice that the numerators are the same? There's 5/9 and there's 5/6. The top numbers, or the numerators, are the same. Okay, so we have to cut Catherine's into ninths. That's going to be a little tricky. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to color in 5 to show how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now let's do 5/6. So 6 is going to be simple because I just know that I cut my thirds in half. Okay, now I'm going to have 5/6, so that's 1/6. So it's 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6. Now because we tried to make this one as equal as possible, and because we made the tape diagrams about the same size, the answer is obvious. We can look at the picture and see which one decorated more pages. Who decorated more pages? Diana did. Well, it's obvious. You can see from the picture. Okay, so make sure this is why Mrs. Corlett is so particular about you doing a good job with your diagrams. Okay. Now, let's write this using less than, greater than, or equal to. Okay, so we had 5/9 and we had 5/6. The crocodile eats the larger piece, which would be 5/6. So we would say 5/9 is less than 5/6. Okay? All right, moving on. We're going to draw a bunch of diagrams. We're going to divide them up. So I want you to stay with me as I'm doing this, okay? So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to draw me a rectangle. Well, actually 2 rectangles about the same size. It'll be exactly perfect, but pretty close. Okay, now this one, I want it to be less than 1/2. Both of these have to be divided into fractions less than 1/2. So I'm going to do it my way, and then you are going to fill this in. It has to be less than 1/2. Okay, so here we go. I know that the larger the number here says I cut it into more pieces. If I cut it into more pieces, then I have less than 1/2. So I'm going to start by making a half. Now I got to cut that into other pieces. I'm just going to do some cutting here. So what did I make? What's my fraction? I cut this into 1/6. I'm going to color in 1 just because I want to make sure it makes sense. Okay, now it's your turn. You have to cut this into something that is less than 1/2. Go ahead. Okay, what did you do? Make sure you label your fraction. So I'm just going to pick another one because I can't obviously see what you did on video, but I know it has the bottom number, or it's called the denominator. We don't really know that at this point, but I just gave you a label for that bottom number. That bottom number has to be larger than 1/2. I'm just going to do this. Or what, than 2, larger than 2. Getting all confusing with my words. So if I make this number larger than 2, I've got more pieces, which would make it be less than 1/2. That's what I want to say. So what did I make? What fraction did I make? I made 1/3. 1, 2, 3. I cut it into 3 pieces. Well, 3 is just a little bigger than 2. Do I have more pieces? I sure do. Are they less than 1/2? Absolutely. Okay, moving on. Please try to make these shapes on your paper. Try to make them about the same size. It's hard for me to draw straight today. Okay, now please partition both of them into 6ths. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this one into 1/3, and then I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to cut this one into 1/3, and I'm going to cut that in half, and that will give me 6. Okay. Now, partition my second square to show double the number of pieces. Okay, so I got to show double the number of pieces. So right now I have 6. I got to get 12. Well, what if I cut these in half? Do I have 12 pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so let's write our fractions. This one is cut into 1/6. This one is cut into 1/12. Okay, now color 4 units of each one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now change your fractions here to show me the colored areas. This would be 4/6. This would be 4/12. Okay, now let's compare them. So we're going to write them over here. Now we can use less than, greater than, or equal. Okay, so crocodile eats the larger size, the larger piece. Larger piece is obviously this one because I drew them about the same size so I could tell. There we go. So now let's read it. 4/6 is greater than 4/12. Okay? This time, I would like you to make rectangles. Kind of like your fraction strips. Make them about the same size. Okay? Now, please partition the first rectangle into 7ths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And partition the second one into 5ths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, please shade in 3 units of each one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now let's write the fractions of our shaded regions. So this one would be 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, sevenths. This would be 3/5. Now, less than, greater than, or equal is our choices. Which one is larger? This one is larger. Crocodile eats the larger one. Now let's read it. 3/7 is less than 3/5. Okay, now this is a model that we're using to show us the answers. This is why it's not hard at all. Now this time, please draw me 2 number lines. Make the number lines about the same length. Label them from 0 to 1. See how my lines kind of line up? I'm trying to line things up because I want the answer to just reveal itself. Easy peasy. Okay, now the first number line we are going to cut into 8ths. Okay, so I can cut that into 8ths. Here we go. Cut my half. Whoops, not very straight. Cut my halves in half. It gives me 4ths. Cut my 4ths in half. That gives me 8ths. And then please cut this one into 10ths. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now this is a little bit bigger, so I hope it doesn't change things. Okay, now please mark with an arrow where 8/8 are. Can you define 8/8? That tells me that this is 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, 8/8. Well, I already knew that because I know that 8/8 is 1. Okay, now this is the trick. I need you to mark 2 copies of 5/10. Where would that be? 2 copies of 5/10. Okay, well, I'm going to use my highlighter here. Where is 5/10? 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10. Here's 5/10. So this would be 1 copy right here. I have to mark another copy. So let's do another copy. 1, 2, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the second 5/10. So this is, oh, you can't even read it. This is 5/10, and this is 5/10. So 5/10 plus 5/10 is what? It is 10/10. Okay, so let's compare my fractions. I have 8/8 and I have 10/10. Here's my choices. What's my answer? Well, is one larger than the other? Well, if I change my color here, when I draw my lines straight down because I can compare, sure looks to me like they're falling at the same point of the number line. If they're falling at the same point of the number line, that tells me that they would be equal. Well, is that true? 8/8, does that equal 10/10? Well, sure, because I know that 8/8 is another way of writing 1. I know that 10/10 is another way of writing 1. I know that 1 equals 1. Okay? Easy peasy. This is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be using shapes of fractions. We're going to be using number lines of fractions. Not hard. I hope you have fun. See you soon.